Welcome to the Rise Up Podcast, the show where we share the Thunderbird's eye view of our Yucaipa High. Each week, we sit down with students, staff, or community members to highlight the stories and celebrate the achievements from across our community that make T-Bird Nation soar. Now, get ready to rise up. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Rise Up Podcast. Today, we are here talking about our amazing theater program and specifically our upcoming production of Lost in Yonkers. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do for the theater program.
Hi, I'm Nolan Richards. I'm the assistant director for Lost in Yonkers. I primarily work with Mr. Lewis, who is our program kind of director and main director for the show. And so I'm basically like his right-hand man in trying to figure out what exactly we want to do for the show.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Emma DeWitt, and I'm the production stage manager for the production Lost in Yonkers. And I work with the entire tech team. I kind of like just make sure that they have what they need for the show and make sure that things are running smoothly with them. And I pretty much just give the schedule for the tech team.
Awesome. So Nolan, you're the assistant director. Talk to us about that role a little bit more. What are some of the choices that you've made? What's your vision for the production? Or what can people expect from this production?
So Lost in Yonkers by Neil Simon is the show about this family living in Yonkers, New York, which is right out of New York City during World War II, 1940s. And so these two boys, Jay and Artie, they've been thrust by their father into living with their very German grandma, who's kind of really tough, and their kind of crazy, kooky aunt, Bella. And so there's a lot of family dynamics in the show and a lot of conflict of them just trying to live their lives within this crazy historical time of World War II. This show is very interesting because it talks about a lot of themes that I believe a lot of people can relate to. It relates to me, Mr. Lewis, I bet Emma too. It has a lot of themes that everyone can kind of relate to. My vision for the show was to work best with Mr. Lewis and try to figure out what we exactly wanted for the show. There was a lot of collaboration and trying to figure out what is the best route for something, or trying to make changes and working with our tech team and trying to figure out what's the best choice and also like the easiest and safest choice for some stuff. So it's very nice to just have this big team and trying to figure out what is best for the show.
Awesome. And Emma, you're the stage manager. So you organize all the things tech, I think you were saying. So what are some of the challenges that you've seen, or what are some of the things that you've been able to do with this production?
So this is my first time being the production stage manager, and it's been very interesting and a lot of fun to work with like pretty much just my best friends on this production. The show is really different from like rehearsals. So in rehearsals, I'm like getting everyone building or doing what they need to be there. And then for the show, I'm like away from like 60% of them. And I'm just with a really small group in the tech booth, making sure that they have what they're doing. So yeah. And I think the biggest challenge has been just adjusting to it all, being like the person in charge of everyone on the tech team. It's a lot of pressure, but it's also been really rewarding in a way. So
it's awesome. It's really challenging to be responsible for something that you're separated from, right? That's like my world. That's what I live in, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you get to have that experience as a high school student and be able to develop that skill so young. That's awesome. So putting on a full-scale production requires collaboration. So how have you guys been able to work together to support each other through this process?
So one of the first things that we always do once the final show has been kind of casted and we've done our first read through of the show is that we have to go over what the set is. And that's the biggest moment of when everyone tech and also me and Mr. Lewis is just in the room trying to figure out what exactly we're going to do. With this show, it was a little easier because it's set in one apartment. And so it was just trying to figure out where all the little things are in the apartment. And just trying to figure out, and it was just a lot of collaboration on, does this make sense? What if we do this differently? And so it was just trying to figure out what exactly is realistic and trying to have our biggest dream of trying to build this entire apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. The set building was definitely the biggest thing we had to collaborate on. And for the most part, we had a very simple idea down, but it was like, would this be over here or would it be over here? Like trying to decide where things were going to go. And then we went back and forth a lot of times. And at some point we just got Mr. Lewis and was like, pick one of these. And he did it for us. And it was so nice to just finally have an answer for that.
So he's the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. So you guys are in Tech Week right now. For those people who aren't in theater, what is Tech Week? What are some of the things that happen? Take us through that. What are you guys working on right now?
That's really your domain. You should speak first.
Okay. Tech Week is pretty much the biggest push week for the production team. It's every little thing that you might have put off or that you're not quite solid on yet. You have to get it down during Tech Week before the show starts. We're here till 9:30, and this week we're here until 10 at night, just running rehearsals and going through the show, making sure we have every little prop, every sound cue right, everything that's in order, make sure costume changes are tight. It's a lot of pressure on our team, and I'm just thankful that we have parents to bring meals for us because we're working really hard all throughout the day at school, and then we have to stay here we're at school for 13 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mentally straining sometimes, but Tech Week's super important for our shows to be as the best that they can be.
Yeah. What do you do? Are there things, so you said that meals are brought in. Are there other things that you guys do to kind of find that balance or to release some of the pressure at times?
I would say that whenever there's a break, you got to focus on stuff that you need to do. And that's what I try to do is if I have homework or anything, whenever there's a break, I always just try to do it then. If not, then I guess I do have to stay up really late and do it. But I always try to put my academics first, especially during this time, because it can be really hectic. And so it's just best to kind of stay on top of things. And I've been so busy, I've now had to start having a checklist on my phone and making sure I'm doing everything that I need to be doing in order to just stay afloat during this time.
Gotcha. I'm a big checklist person too, and I always feel like when I write it down, I can stop thinking about it for the minute. Because I'm the one, if I don't think about it all the time, I'll forget, right? So writing it down is a huge way that I relieve that mental load and allow me to focus on what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm trying to think about what I can't forget, right? So that's an awesome strategy. What are other things that you guys are going to take from theater into life after high school? What are skills that you develop through the theater program that are going to help you in college and your career, and other things that you have in your future plans?
So I want to go to Crafton for 2 years to study film. And I think that just being in the department as much as I have been has really helped get my knowledge in for that way. And then I want to transfer to CBU for the rest of my time in college because theater is what I really like to do. And the pressure of having a set and having actors and a team like that and putting on a production, it's my favorite thing. So just being in theater has really helped me see what I wanted to do in life.
It's awesome. What are you looking at for next?
I've been doing theater since I've been 9 years old. And so I feel very confident in knowing this is kind of what I want to do with my life. And so I'm going to university to study theater. And I've been really working hard with Mr. Lewis because I really want to eventually be a high school theater teacher one day. And a lot of this time has been figuring out how to work as a future educator, and especially in theater and just in kind of in general. And so a lot of these skills that Mr. Lewis is helping me with will hopefully help me with going into my future career.
That's awesome. So if there's anybody watching that's interested in being a part of the theater that isn't currently, what do you recommend? How can they get involved? What opportunities are there in theater? So you guys are kind of behind the scenes for this production, but you weren't always, right? And so what are opportunities that are available through the theater? How can they join? How can they become a member of the team?
I would recommend to anyone that thinks they want to join theater to go talk to Mr. Lewis and just get into the next production as soon as they can, because the most common thing I hear from like a junior or senior that joins theater is that they wish they joined sooner. So anybody who's interested should definitely think about joining, because most people, I'll like talk to them about it, be like, hey, you should join theater, you're really good at this. And they're like, oh, I don't want to be on stage. I'm like, I'm not even on stage. You don't have to worry about that. You can like be a props person and like be in charge of that and see how that works. Or you can just be stage crew and you can help with set changes. And if you work more at it, then you can be a person in some sort of authority and lead people, which is a really important skill that people should learn.
Yeah. So you've been in it since 9. So what are some different roles that you had in the theater along the way?
I started like doing theater camps. That's how I've been like doing theater for so long. I started when I was like in 2017 when I was 9, doing just like theater camps in Redlands, and it was kind of weird. I'm glad my parents signed me up for it, but that was fun. And then like after kind of the main COVID hit, I started doing theater at Lifehouse Theater in Redlands, and did like 5 shows there, and that was like very nice of kind of getting all those skills from like doing amateur like just children's theater to actually be performing, like doing several shows on stage for a lot of people. And and even during like high school and doing like, this is my 7th show, I like main stage show. So I've basically been here all 4 years. I even still like do community theater. Even during this time, I was in Hello Dolly at the Redlands Bowl and like 2 years ago, and I've done 2 shows at YPAC. And so it's a lot, but it's also like, I love it. And so I just try to do my best in this, like just doing theater. It's fun. You should do it. And yeah.
So we have theater classes, right, that students can sign up for. Very introduction based, lots of acting from what I understand, but they also do some tech stuff in those classes as well. And then you don't have to be in the theater class to audition for a production. They come out or to help.
No, you can. We always do auditions for the fall play in like late August, right when school kind of starts up, and then we do auditions for our main musical in December, like right before winter break. And so those are the times you want to figure out, is this something I want to join for this 2 to 3 month process? And it's really fun. You should do it. I say everyone should do some type of performing arts in some form, and so theater is really great for that. But you don't have to do theater like drama classes. I mean, I've done it, but you don't necessarily have to do that to gain something from theater and to learn about theater.
Yep, I haven't done any of them.
Good job.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. And for those of you who are interested, we'll see you at Lost in Yonkers.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this episode of our Rise Up podcast. T-Bird Nation, no matter where you are on your journey, remember, the view gets better the higher you climb. Keep rising up, T-Birds.